Some promises are so familiar, we just assume we know everything they mean. But a lot of the time, the really powerful stuff is hiding in the fine print. Today, we're going to unpack one of the most famous verses out there to find a promise that is so much stronger, deeper, and more specific than you might have ever realized. All right, let's dive in.
Here it is, Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. I mean, it's a statement of incredible comfort, right? It's been a rock for millions of people, a simple, straightforward promise that God's presence is a constant. But what if there's more to it?
What if the original language held a meaning that's more active, more personal? And what if the verse numbers themselves, of all things, held a hidden message? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. We're going to look at the context, the words, and yeah, even the numbers of this promise to see what's really being said. Okay, so first things first. To really get the power of a promise, you have to understand the moment it was given. And this promise, this was not spoken in a time of peace and security. Not even close. It was forged in a moment of really profound fear and uncertainty.
So to understand this, you got to picture the scene. Moses, the only leader this nation has ever known, is about to die. After 40 years, he's handing over the reins to Joshua, and the people are standing on the edge of a new hostile land, and they have to go in without him. Can you just imagine the collective anxiety, the fear? It is into that thick atmosphere that Moses speaks these words.
So you see, this is not some casual, feel-good promise for when things are easy. It was specifically crafted for the moments when we feel the most exposed. When you're facing a huge life change, grieving a loss, or stepping into something new that just requires more courage than you feel like you have, it was made for that moment. And let's be honest, the strength of any promise depends completely on who's making it. So, who is the one giving this incredible assurance? Well, the answer is actually found right in one of God's names. Meet El Shammah. It's a name for God that means the Lord is there. Not the Lord was there or the Lord will be there. No, his very name is a statement of permanent, active, right this second presence. It's not just something he does, it's literally who he is. So when El Shammah makes a promise about his presence, he's making a promise about his own identity. All right, now let's get into the good stuff, the fine print of the promise itself. The translation we know says, he will never leave you, but the original Hebrew word, it paints a much more vivid, powerful picture.
The word is rapha, and it literally means to let your hand go limp, to release your hold on something, to just drop what you're carrying. It's a very physical, very tangible word. So when God says he will not rapha you, he's saying something incredibly specific. He's saying, my grip on you will not weaken. My hand that's holding you will not grow tired. I will not let go. It's a promise of an absolutely unbreakable hold. Okay, so let's look at the second half. The promise continues, nor forsake you. And you guessed it, the original Hebrew here has another distinct and really powerful meaning.
This word is azab, and it doesn't just mean to leave, it means to abandon someone right when they need you most. It's the idea of turning your back and walking away from someone in their absolute moment of crisis. And here we see the other side of the coin. God is saying, when you are at your lowest, when you feel like you've failed, when the battle is the hardest, that is precisely the moment I will not desert you. I will not be the one who walks away. So you put these two words together, and you get this complete, totally airtight promise. Rapha is the internal grip that will not loosen. Azab is the external presence that will not leave. From every angle, inwardly and outwardly, the promise is total. He won't let go of you, and he won't walk away from you. Now, as if that wasn't enough, there's one more layer to this verse that is just absolutely fascinating. It's hidden in plain sight, right there in the verse numbers themselves.
Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. Let's break this down. In biblical numerology, numbers often carry symbolic weight. So what might 31 and 6 be trying to tell us here?
Well, in biblical symbolism, the numbers can tell a story. Here, the number 31 can be seen to represent God's complete, undivided commitment. And in stark contrast, the number 6 is almost always associated with humanity. Created on the sixth day, it represents human effort, our limits, our weakness, and our need. So the very address of the promise tells its story. God's complete, unwavering, divine presence, that's the 31, meets us exactly where we are, right in our human weakness and limitation. That's the 6.
The promise doesn't wait for us to get stronger. It comes to us right in the middle of our need. It's incredible. So, okay, we've looked at the context, the original Hebrew, and even the numbers. So what does this all add up to? What's the big takeaway from this deeper dive?
Let's just put it all together real quick. First, this promise is tailor-made for our most difficult moments. Second, God's grip on you will never go slack. Third, His presence will never desert you in a crisis. And fourth, His divine strength is literally designed to meet you in your human weakness.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most crucial point. The verse actually begins with a command, be strong and courageous. But that command, it isn't based on our own willpower. Our courage doesn't come from us. It flows directly from the promise that follows. The whole reason we can be strong is because He is there. So, as we finish up, here's the question to take with you. In your life, right now, in whatever transition you're in, your fear, your uncertainty, where is El Shammah, the God who is there, speaking this more powerful, more specific promise over you? Where is He reminding you that His grip hasn't loosened, He hasn't walked away, and He is right there with you?